Greetings, it is I, Tentus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire. Welcome. We're continuing our discussion on D20 Modern, the 3rd edition take on the modern era. 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons, based upon. Anyway, so, we talked about skills and feats last time. It's equipment this time. Now, I'm not going to go over everything for equipment, because there's a lot to talk about for equipment. It's a modern world. You have a lot of stuff. You have to think about how much stuff you might just have as a normal person, let alone someone that's being a hero and an adventurer. But let's talk about your wealth, because that's the first place we're going to talk about. I talked about it briefly before, but your wealth score is going to reflect how much buying power your character will have. And anything you want to purchase, everything is going to have a DC that tells you how much you have to get on a roll in order to get that item, a wealth check. You're going to roll your D20, add your wealth bonus, and compare it. Of course, if you get lower than that, you failed to get it. If you get higher than that, you've purchased it. Of course, being lower just means you do not currently have the wealth to do it. Now, if your wealth bonus exceeds the DC of whatever you're trying to purchase, you just automatically get it. So if whatever I'm trying to get is DC 9, I have a wealth bonus of 12, I'm just getting it. I don't have to roll. I'm just purchasing it. On the other hand, if the DC is higher than your wealth bonus, if you've successfully bought it, you reduce your wealth by 1. It means that you've gone beyond your means and that you've lost some of your wealth as a result of it. You've overspent yourself. Now, your starting wealth is based on a number of factors. First thing is whatever your occupation is will add into your wealth. If you took the windfall feat to start out with, you get some extra money. You will roll 2d4 at bonus, or whatever you rolled, to your wealth bonus. So from 2 to 8. And if you have 1 to 4 ranks in a profession, you will get +1 to your wealth bonus. All those added together equals your current wealth bonus as you start your character. Now, when you start your character, it's important, especially if you're making mass bulk purchases, to make a list of everything you want to purchase. And try to arrange it a little bit by the DC it needs to purchase. So that's what you're doing. Either bulk purchases or starting character, you look at that. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to check off anything that you would automatically purchase. Anything below your wealth score. You just get those. You're good with it. You don't have to roll. You're fine with it. That's when you start looking at things higher than your wealth score. You're going to figure out how many you're going to get, how many it's reasonable to get, and you're going to then start rolling for them and seeing if you can get any of them. Because your wealth score is going to start decreasing as you get some of those. And you might not get all of them anyway. You might fail to get some of those. Now, the amount of time it's going to take you to purchase something can be as simple as, if it's something common, going down to the corner store and purchasing it. If it's something a little more unusual, it might take you a few hours to get things together, find the correct store that has it, or ask the right person. Or if it's something restricted or that you need a license for, it could take you days or a lot more extra time because of how you have to try to figure out how you're getting it. Now, you are allowed to take a 10 or a 20 on your wealth check. They just take extra time. Taking a 10 just means you're effectively taking a good amount of extra time on doing it. It might be that if it's something common you're taking a 10 on, it might take you a day instead of a couple of hours, something like that. A small jump. On the other hand, if you're taking a 20, it will take you 20 times the amount of time it would have taken you before. Now, when we're talking about before, it's going to be dependent on, if it's common, just, corner store. If it's uncommon, the DC is the number of hours it's going to be. So if it's a DC 12, it's going to take me 12 hours to locate it. Again, it's more if it's restricted or something that you need a license for, could be days equivalent to that. So if it's DC 12, it could be 12 days. Think about 20 times that. That's what you're looking at. Now, this does mean you can, of course, get something beyond your wealth. But again, if the DC would be higher than your wealth bonus, you still lose wealth bonus. You're still buying beyond your means, even if you're taking a lot of time to find out where you can purchase it correctly. Now, trying again on the roll. Yes, you can, and no, you can't. Yes, you can on normal circumstances because you just can. It will take the same amount of time as you took before. If it was going to take you 5 hours to try to find anything, it's going to take you 5 hours again. On the other hand, no, you can't if you're a starting character. If you're a starting character, you get 1 try to find it. After you start the game and some time passes, you can try again, of course. I mean, that's just fine. But you only get 1 attempt when you're building your character to actually try to get something. After that, yes, it's fine to try again. Now, you can aid someone with a wealth check. I could aid my friend with a wealth check, but I just would do it. They would have a +2. The disadvantage is that I would take a hit to my wealth and lose 1 to my wealth. Now, of course, I might want to make some kind of deal for this of like, let's say I know that they can't pay me back at the moment in time. I give them the advance, give them a loan effectively. I lose my 1 to my wealth for their +2, but I'm expecting them to give it back in order to increase my wealth back up again. Sort of a little trade-off. Now, depending on the DC, I've said if it exceeds it, you lose 1, but it can get worse than that. If the DC is 1 to 10, higher than my wealth value, then I only lose 1. As soon as it goes from 11 to 15, I lose 1d6 wealth. If it is 16 or higher DC than whatever my wealth value is, I lose 2d6. I'm way overspending what I should do. And there is another caveat. If the DC for something is 15 or higher, I automatically lose 1. It's an expensive item in the first place. I'm taking, the time to buy such an expensive item. Yeah, I'm going to lose some of my money. Now your wealth bonus, it can hit 0. But that doesn't mean you're screwed out or out of luck. You can still purchase things. Anything of DC 10 or less, I can still purchase with a wealth bonus of 0. But I cannot take a 10, and I cannot take a 20. There's that little caveat restriction there that I cannot take those checks. I can still, of course, try to buy stuff, but again, it's just because I'm scrounging together some loose cash. Now let's talk about gaining wealth. Because I talked about losing wealth already, there are a couple of ways to gain wealth. First off, whenever you gain advancement, whenever I gain a level, I can make a profession check. If I don't have profession, I can make a wisdom check. The DC is going to be equivalent to my wealth score. If I succeed at that check, I gain 1 wealth. For every 5 I exceed that DC by, I gain an extra 1 wealth. So if my wealth was 5 and I rolled a 10, I would get +2 to my wealth. If I rolled a 15 +3, if I only rolled a 6, I'd only get +1. And this is assuming whatever my current profession is, I'd be rolling that. So if I take skills and profession, it actually has a use to it, that you're doing a profession, or it's just a wisdom check and you're hoping for the best. You're not going to... It's a balancing act to see how much you can actually gain over the course. The more skilled you get at a profession actually makes a big difference. Now, there's a lot of items out there that are just mundane items that you look around you in the room and you might see something like a cell phone, a wallet, small things, a towel, a pillow. These are mundane things which aren't really important to adventuring or doing anything normally in the game. But you can have a bunch of them. And it's not going to be assumed you don't necessarily need to do these at character creation. If you want to see if you have a mundane thing at hand, you roll a wealth check. You cannot take a 20, you cannot take a 10 on it. You subtract 10 from your wealth score when figuring out what you're adding in there. And if you then get the DC, you have it at hand. You already had it. It was a mundane item already in your whatever you had. You don't have to worry about going out and purchasing it. So things of very low DC, again, you're getting the -10 to your wealth check, but still. The only caveat this that really helps you out is if the DC is higher than your wealth score, you don't lose any for a mundane item. You don't lose any wealth for buying like an expensive mundane item. It's less important. It's not going to come up. It's not like it's a car. It's not like it's a gun. It's not like it's a laptop. So some objects are restricted and need licensing. Now, if it's under the restricted category, that means you do need some kind of license. This is normally for certain organizations or qualified individuals within those organizations are getting whatever this item is. There is also military level. This requires a little more work because this is normally for police force or actual military force are allowed to get something like this. This is like restricted, except it has more government kind of oversight on this kind of item. There's also illegal items, which just are, as they sound, illegal. You normally can't get them in an everyday existence. Now, in order to get each of these type of things, just a simple license, restricted, military, or illegal, each of them has a wealth DC in order to get the licensing and permission for them. Effectively, you still can get something permission for it in illegal. It requires a lot more work and scrutiny. It has a DC. It's a wealth check DC that you have to make. Now, there is other options, of course, that is listed here. You can try black market. Black market increases the normal DC of whatever item it is, and, well, yes, it might be easier to purchase it then, but then you have to worry about the fact that if someone sees it and you don't have the proper licensing, you might be in trouble there. So it is a second option. Now, if you do successfully go through the channels to get the licensing, and you make the wealth check DC to see if you have enough money to pay for whatever the licensing is, then it's going to require a number of days, also listed in the chart in the book, in order for you to get said license for whatever item you're trying to get. Now, you can make a profession, you can make a knowledge business check to reduce the amount of time that you're spending to do this, but again, that's just seeing if you can speed up the process. Now, that's it for today. I started talking about the basics of wealth. I explained what your wealth score is and the easiest ways to have it go, that it can go up and down when purchasing things. A little bit about purchasing stuff as your beginning character, and a little bit of information on getting things that might be restricted or illegal. Now, next time I'm going to start by talking about the black market and moving on from there, trying to finish up some information on equipment. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I left out, just please leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. It shows support for the channel, the empire, and the work I do. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.